Welcome to Wrestle-Gay-nia, your favorite queer wrestling recap show for Jet Space Magazine. I'm your host, Elle Sanchez.
And I'm Val Nigro.
I love wrestling.
And I would rather have a root canal.
This episode, we are recapping the latest WWE pay-per-view, Survivor Series.
Which is called that because I survived watching the whole thing.
Yeah, they call it that every year, just for Val. The Survivor Series, if you don't know, is actually when the two main rosters of WWE Raw and SmackDown Live, when they come together and wrestle each other. Red versus blue. I don't know. Maybe red should be the right hand. Red versus blue in a series of, wrestling matches, because that's what wrestling is.
Right.
So that they call it Survivor Series, and then you see which roster wins the most matches, and that's what we watched. I might be biased, but I liked it.
It's fun. It was kind of like a battle royale, melee of just a bunch of wrestlers, all tag team, all wrestling each other, and whoever was left got the glory. Yes, it was kind of like the All-Star game. It was like people that... excuse me for referencing another sport.
Do you mean that because there was an actual Olympian participating?
Oh, yes. Well, there was.
Yeah.
But yeah, just wrestlers because they're usually wrestling against each other, and then now they're teammates, right?
Right, yeah. It is like people have to put aside their personal vendettas, their personal issues, and come together and on a team and fight for each other.
Or betray each other. Oh, spoiler alert.
First match is a very anticipated tag team match of Raw versus SmackDown. The Raw representatives being the Shield versus SmackDown Live's representatives, the New Day.
Yay.
New Day rocks.
Anyone who doesn't like the New Day is racist and homophobic.
That's 100%
and hates
true.
fun, just saying.
Yeah, because why would you at all hate the New Day? There's no reason to unless you're a horrible person. There's literally no reason. Who hates cereal and unicorns?
Good analogy. The Shield, on the other hand, are literally look like wet-haired terrorists.
Oh my God, the Shield, they're a fan favorite on Raw. Just recently reconnected, but came back together. They're a popular tag team that had split up in all of the members, which is Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins, and Roman Reigns had come together. Anyway, they all had been singles wrestlers, kind of mostly Roman Reigns unsuccessfully, as you may or may not know. But anyway, came together for the Shield. Looked like a small town militia. For some reason came out in their stupid bulletproof vests and whatnot. Yeah. And their wet hair, even Dean Ambrose with his short hair is wet and it's red. I don't know what the point. And the New Day came out being lots of fun.
Being cute with musical instruments.
Sure.
Being posy and fun and kind of gay. Yeah.
And talking better shit than the Shield. And it was a really good match. It was there was a lot of great high-flying stuff. The New Day did a lot of cool group moves, like group choke slams and acrobatic stuff. Yeah. And it was pretty cool, but they lost.
Although I will say that Big E farting in the face of one of the Shield terrorists was my favorite moment and hopefully made up somewhat for the loss.
They win in our hearts all the time. Next is the 5-on-5 women's ladies elimination match, which is the Raw team versus the SmackDown team. On the SmackDown roster, we've got Captain Becky Lynch, Tamina with Lana, and whatever, we're still not sure what that. Tamina came out with Lana. Also, we've got Natalya, we've got Carmella, and Feel the Glow, Naomi.
And then for Raw, we had Alicia Fox, Bayley, Sasha Banks, Nia Jax, and Asuka. My personal highlights were, first of all, Bayley with her intro has a horde of wacky waving inflatable arm people.
They're the Bayley Buddies.
The Bayley Buddies. So I love them because it reminds me of the car dealerships in New Jersey of my youth.
Yeah.
And then my other highlight is that Natalya, I love how she yells back at hecklers in the audience and tells them to shut up.
Yeah, and she's like looks legitimate pissed when she's like, shut up! I've like seen her do it live and it's amazing.
Yes.
Love it. I was excited for the return of Nia Jax, the love of my life, who someday will know I'm alive. It's my dream.
And possibly propose.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know whether or not she's queer, but I have created fanfic for us where we are madly in love. But she's back. She's back, and I'm very excited, and is still the most gorgeous, awesome, coolest person in the whole world. Also, we won't go through all the people who were eliminated. They eliminated each other. It's a long thing, but what's important is that Asuka was the last person standing. They're still holding her up since her debut from NXT, and she's still doing great. Mm-hmm. She still looks cool. She still got good moves.
Awesome, great mask, and is badass. Yeah,
it was a good match. I liked it overall. I'm still not sure why Tamina with Lana was a thing, but they both got eliminated anyway. Next match is the Lone Wolf, Baron Corbin.
Cancel that phrase.
Versus the A-lister, The Miz.
I just love that. So Baron Corbin is, am I saying it right? Corbin?
Yeah, Corbin. Apocalypse guy, post-apocalypse guy. I don't know.
Scary patchwork pants guy.
Yeah.
He is scary and weird, and has very wet hair, but is also balding. So I love that there was a fan in the audience who had a sign that said Balding Corbin.
Yeah, this was he is very disliked by most fans, and we equally dislike him. He's not a good wrestler technically, and his character's boring as fuck. Still not even sure what the character is.
He has no personality.
Yeah, it's weird. But so the fans for this pay-per-view held up some really
They went in on Baron.
Yeah, when he came out, because everyone could not give a shit when this guy is in a match. But when he came out, there was the Balding Corbin sign. There was also a sign that said Baron Corbin needs sunglasses. I'm still not sure what that means. Maybe tell us in comments if you know what that means. Yes. I'm not sure. Maybe it's because his future's so bright, you know? I don't know. That's not it.
Yeah.
That's not it. And lastly, he walked up to a fan and then walked down with his belt for his title. And he got in the fan's face. And I think he expected the fan to give him a high five or something, but the fan just was like, nope. It was really sad.
Harsh.
It was really sad.
Baron Corbin won.
Yeah.
But I feel like at what cost? Those are some harsh signs.
Yeah. Next up, we've got another tag team match, which is from the Raw roster. We've got Cesaro and Sheamus, and from SmackDown, we've got the Usos, down since day one, ish.
I love the Usos because they wrestle in outfits that I personally would wear.
Yeah, like literally what Val's wearing
like
right
joggers.
now.
I don't know if you can see
this is
them.
like kind of similar to their Survivor Series outfit. I mean, they just look really comfy. They have these really nice pants on that I really want to own. And they frayed their little bottom of their shirts.
Yeah, really cute. Great sense of style.
Cesaro and Sheamus, I want them to win more than in pay-per-views. They did win recently on Raw, but I want them to win in pay-per-views because they're so, with their cute little, I love their kilts. I love their little Dragon Ball Z.
Did you love the frosted tips on the mohawk?
Oh yeah, Sheamus came out with terrible tips. Like his mohawk is always so silly. Fans always yell, "You look stupid" at him because the mohawk is so bad. But then he also came out with it separated in like spikes. Oh, not Liberty spikes, not that cool, but almost. And then it had like white tips on. I don't know.
He doubled down on it.
It looks stupid, but they're so adorable. They're one of my favorite tag teams. But they did lose. The Usos won. They got sentenced to the Usos penitentiary, whatever the hell is their phrase. I don't know, something like that.
I'm happy they won, and I love their pants.
Yeah. Next match is the Women's Raw Champion versus the SmackDown Raw Champion, which means Charlotte the Queen Flair versus Alexa the Goddess, I guess is her name, Bliss.
A second women's match. What did we do to deserve this?
I know. It's so exciting. Also a weird mismatch of very different. Charlotte is tall.
Very tall.
Is very tall. Very tall. Very acrobatic.
Good wrestler.
Really
very
good
strong.
wrestler. Yeah, and Alexa Bliss is there.
She's tiny.
She's really tiny.
She looks, I don't know.
She's really tiny, which doesn't, and most times that can be a benefit because that means you can do a lot more, high flying stuff. But like most of the cruiserweights do because they're tiny people. But it was a weird. You're like pitting two people against each other, one of which who has a much longer reach than you do. And Charlotte, has become a really popular baby face lately. So especially with her dad being ill and in the hospital and whatnot, which is Ric Flair, Nature Boy Ric Flair. So it was a little. There was parts where it literally like Charlotte was climbing the ropes and Alexa Bliss was reaching out at her and Charlotte was kicking back at her like she was just shooing a fly. Like, can you stop touching my ankles?
And Charlotte always has like a weird like injury that she's supposedly nursing. Like this time it was something with her her bad ribs. Like she just has a bad rib cage.
It's that spot.
So she was just favoring it and hunched over, but then made a comeback at the end.
Right, that is her move to like have a knee or an ankle thing, and then the other person exploits it, and then at the end
they just like kick or punch the bad rib.
They just kick or punch and just kick. But she won. But Charlotte won, and it was exciting because Alexa Bliss is annoying, and I'm over her deal. There was a queen before there was a goddess, Charlotte said, and it's true. She won.
The queen beat the goddess.
Yeah, the queen reigns. Next match is probably for most WWE fans like the most anticipated match of this pay-per-view, which is Brock Lesnar versus AJ Styles.
Your favorite dad wrestler.
Yeah, it was basically like Jimmy John's versus Backyard Barbecue. It was good. I like this match a lot. It was
fun. I like how Brock Lesnar came right out of the gate and pinned AJ Styles in the corner and headbutted him like 18 times within the first 30 seconds.
Yeah. The Beast Incarnate lived up to his stupid ass nickname. Because that's all he can do really is just act like a pointless, speechless beast, because when he does talk, he has a very high-pitched voice, so they don't let him. So he just comes out and jumps around, and then it turns into Suplex City or whatever dumb thing. But AJ,
AJ put in a valiant effort.
He held his own.
Yeah, I think he did his kids proud, but
that's ultimately, all he cares about. That's all he cares about.
Ultimately, it wasn't enough to overcome Brock, who's undefeated, correct?
Yeah, at this point, yeah. But you know what's my favorite thing about this match was that it absolutely looked like the dad that coaches T-ball, which would be AJ, decided to confront the kid bullying his kid, and then the bully kid's dad showed up, who would be Brock Lesnar. And he's in his outfit from working at the junkyard or something, and then the T-ball dad's like, oh shit, I went too far. But then he can't give up because he has to show his son that he can't give up and that fighting is the answer to everything.
That's heartwarming. Mm-hmm. And also I think we need to become writers for pro wrestling.
Call us, Raw,
Hit
SmackDown,
us up, DM us.
Sadly, Brock Lesnar won this match. But you know what? I think AJ still won in his kids' eyes.
And yes, in our hearts.
Mm-hmm. Final match of the night, the main event, which is the 5-on-5 men's elimination match. On the SmackDown men's team, we've got Captain Shane McMahon, we've got Shinsuke Nakamura, Bobby Roode, glorious Bobby Roode, Randy Orton, and John Cena.
And for the Raw side, we have Kurt Angle, Finn Balor, Samoa Joe, Braun Strowman, and back from the dead, Triple H. What?
Uncle Trip.
Suck it. So this whole thing was just a giant mess. I like the part where it took 5 people to throw Braun Strowman onto a table. That was fun. But basically at the end there was a huge betrayal.
This is the most important part of this match, is the betrayal, because left in the elimination at the end was 2 Raw members, which would be Triple H and Braun Strowman. And then Shane McMahon was the lone SmackDown guy left. And so it was like, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? Because, Triple H is married to Stephanie McMahon, who is, Shane McMahon's sister. It's his brother-in-law.
Oh, the drama.
Yeah, but Stephanie McMahon and Shane McMahon do not get along. They both are on, she's on Raw, he's on SmackDown. Their whole kayfabe is that they hate each other. That's wrestling fable storylines. Anyway.
Thank you.
But they, at the end, Triple H, it looked like he eliminated Kurt Angle, and it looked like he was doing it to help Shane McMahon, and Braun Strowman's like, what the fuck?
He got so mad that after they won, Braun Strowman went over, started choking Triple H and yelling at him so hard that he literally had spittle flying out of his mouth, and it got trapped in his giant beard.
Right. Because he was confused because he looked like he was going to help Shane McMahon, but then last minute he tagged Shane McMahon. So Raw did end up winning that match. But it was like a weird, he didn't tell Braun Strowman he was going to do this. So yeah, that's why Braun's like, if you ever don't...
Braun angry!
Yeah, whatever he yelled. But it was intimidating. But so Raw wins. Now we have our special segment in which Val has some homework about the pay-per-view and tells us about something that maybe we all don't know about, but Val knows now. The question for this episode is, what has John Cena been doing in his time off? Val?
Yes. Well, I think first things first, obviously, shopping in Old Navy.
Cool, yeah.
He needs more jorts. I'm sure the jorts he has are getting very sweaty and stretched out from wrestling. So new jorts and new cool rainbow belts to go with them. Second thing, telling kids not to do drugs because he is a role model admired by kids everywhere.
Sure.
And third, a lot of squats because he's literally the only white wrestler that has a bubble butt, as we've observed many times before.
Most of them skip leg day. That's how I feel.
Not John Cena.
Not John Cena.
Yeah, it looks good in those jorts.
The extra effort you put in doing the squats and embroidering the American flag on the pocket of your jorts. We see you.
We see you.
You think we don't see you?
You think not, but we see you. Next, we're going to hear Elle's conspiracy theory segment. Was that good?
It's too much fanfare. I feel like we need to pull back on the level of energy. My conspiracy theory, this pay-per-view, is probably the most obvious one that anyone who watched already is already thinking about. And hey, I'm here for you. And that is that couple in the front row during the women's elimination match. They were in the front row the whole time, but you saw them the most during the women's elimination. It's like a tall, thin, sinewy white man in a house coat, like an olive green house coat, and then the lady next to him who's similar looking. Were you like, oh, are those couple ancient vampires? And the answer is yes. Yes, they are. They are.
Wow.
They look like they reminded me of that vampire movie with not Cumberbatch, but the other British guy. No, the other British guy that people like who's weird looking. Loki, Tom Middleton, whatever his name is. And Tilda Swinton, how they made that movie where they're both weird, ugly white vampires. I don't know, they're like skinny.
I'm not up on vampire culture.
Well, this couple, I'm pretty sure that they have been going to wrestling for a long time, since perhaps the dawn of time. To be fair, it's important that we should note that we do not know the gender identity of the couple in the crowd that I'm talking about, who I did just gender earlier. I don't know what their identity is, but I know that their vampire identity, 100% vampire. Thank you for watching Wrestle-Gay-nia on Jet Space Magazine.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
Yes, please. I've been Elle Sanchez.
And I've been Val Nigro. And don't forget, vampires live among us.
I actually just thought about maybe John Cena is a vampire. And that's why we can't see him. Oh.